day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss your present, your future, dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Fiji Water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the gift segment of our app at New Life Delaware, and those of you who have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at newlifeministriesinternational.com and newlifeinternationalcdc.com, we thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we have continued to see an increase in viewership throughout our platforms. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for encouraging others, and continue to encourage your family, friends, coworkers, and colleagues to actually tune in every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. If they're not able to tune in live, ask them to tune in by going to YouTube, and they can, if they type in Daily Divine Direction, they will see our broadcast. Or if they type in 3D Daily Divine Direction broadcast, they'll see our broadcast, but they will be able to go back and view the archive broadcast, which is broadcast daily right here, live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio. I'm going to address a communication, pardon me, that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are having a difficult time letting go of a relationship that you know is not good for you. And you know it's not going anywhere. And it definitely, as you've heard me say, is what you said in your communication, as you've heard me say on the broadcast, that this is not the person that God has appointed for your life. You want to know, how can you let go without feeling the sense of loss? And I'm going to respond by saying this. I'm going to walk you through this based on what you said in your communication, but I'm also going to walk you through this and really go in depth on some of the things I've said previously and expound on it. So here's the reality. First and foremost, the short version of this is, since you understand that this is not the person God has assigned for your life, you have to ask yourself, why are you not willing to let go? But now let's address it one point at a time. So you said, you know the relationship's not good for you. It's toxic. And what I mean by that is, we have an old adage, and I'm going to use this, and some of you may not understand it, but we have an old adage in the community where I grew up, and it's called ghetto love. And what that looks like is, you're in a relationship today, the relationship is running smoothly today, it's even running smoothly this week, and it's really still running smoothly during the course of the month. Then next month, the relationship is over. And you don't want to see your significant other, and your significant other doesn't want to see you. And then the following month, you're back to, I'm in love, you're in love, let's make this work, let's spend some time together. The relationship is off and on. You know it's not good for you because you two are not growing together and you're not building a quality of life. You're always at odds because you think that's how you're supposed to love one another. Unless there's some drama going on, unless there's some contention going on, unless there's some dissension going on, you don't feel that that's demonstrating love. That's not love. Love is peace. Love is power. Love is building a great quality of life together, walking together in agreement, being able to be equally yoked. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. But here's the reality. You know that it's not good for you. And the relationship, from time to time, because of the toxicity, you find it impacting your health. It impacts your ability to sleep efficiently. It impacts your ability to focus during the day. It's a toxic relationship that is not good for you. And you know that. You said it in your communication. It is not good for me. That's what you said. You now understand also that the relationship is going absolutely nowhere. You can't make progress with an on-again, off-again relationship, or off-again, on-again relationship, however you want to term it. You cannot make progress. And if you cannot make progress, you cannot build a great quality of life. You can't even build a good quality of life. You're stuck in the drama, you're stuck in the crisis, you're stuck in that place, the abyss. When you know a relationship is going nowhere, at some point, you've got to be willing to let go. Now, I understand that many people find it difficult to let go of a relationship. And the reason is because you remember the things you enjoy. They may not even, nothing around it may have been good, but you think about what you enjoy in the relationship as opposed to the reason you want out of the relationship. Because, there's an old methodology. Write out a list of pros and cons. Write out a list of things that are positives about the relationship. Write out things that are negative about the relationship. And because of everything you shared in your communication and because of everything God showed me in that secret place of your life, your list of negative items is going to be far longer than your positive list. The pros are going to be outweighed by the cons. In other words, you've got a couple of positives that you enjoy about the relationship, but you've got a lot of negatives that are not a good sign for the relationship. The relationship's not going anywhere. And if it's not going anywhere, if it's not making any progress, it has to come to an end at some point. It has to come to an end. And then you can ask yourself this question. Am I missing out on the person that God has, and this is a rhetorical question, am I missing out on the person that God has assigned for my life because I'm keeping the person who's not assigned to my life in my life? And you have to ask yourself that question just so you can examine why you're still holding on when you know this is the person that God has not assigned for your life. This is not someone who has been preparing themselves to be a great mate. This is not someone who's asked God to prepare them. This is not someone who even has a relationship with the Lord. You know, God is not hard to spell. Jesus is a little harder, but it's not complicated. But that's not a relationship. That's not a relationship with the Lord that's going to allow you to build a great quality of life. So you have to say to yourself, since I know, not if I know, but since I know that this is not the person that God has assigned for my life, I have to be willing to go through a period of what you've termed as loneliness, but you're really never alone. The reason that you go through a period of individuality is because it's God preparing you for the person he's assigned for your life, and God is preparing that person for you. But you have to be willing to go through that season of being by yourself, and it may be, it may be 4 seasons. It may not be. But whatever it is, you've got to be willing to go through those seasons to prepare yourself for what God has in store and what God has appointed for your life. See, here's what we've got to remember. God will withhold no good thing from you. The enemy will give you this, the relationship you're in right now. The enemy will give you that. He'll give you that because it's a disruption, it's a distraction. It's not going to take you to the place that God has purposed for your life. It's not going to take you to the fullness of God. But when you decide to let go and let go of the relationship and let God supply your need. Let God bring that one person into your life who will then build with you a great quality of life. Because that's the goal for all of us. First is to begin with building a great quality of life. What we do here on earth, that's how we begin to build a great quality of life. And then we tap into the spiritual realm, that heavenly realm where the fullness of God is, where we begin to experience a little bit of heaven right here on earth. I've talked about this over the years from time to time. When Jesus told his disciples, taught them how to pray, and he said, pray this: Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. In other words, how great you are, how great is thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So he was saying he wanted us to experience a little bit of heaven right here in earth while we're living this thing out. You have to decide that you want a little bit of heaven right here. And then you have to make the decision to let go of this struggle and let God. Let God do what he desires, so richly desires to do in your life. And I can promise you and stand on the word of God that what God has for you is better than you could possibly have for yourself. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you're not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider, T-Mobile, at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you are tired of extending yourself to help friends, family, and loved ones who are never concerned about you. And nothing that you do is ever enough. It's very interesting because the way that you phrased your communication is absolutely correct. It's not that what you do isn't good enough. It's what you do for them is never enough. And the reason is because their only concern is for themselves. This is actually very easy. All you have to do moving forward, from this day forward, is take care of you. All you have to do is live your life and not take on the responsibility of anyone else's life. All you need to do is focus on what you need to do to make certain that you are taking care of you and allow them to take care of themselves. So the problem is that you extend yourself because of your desire to love your family, your friends, family, loved ones. But love doesn't imply that you need to give them everything they want and get in God's way of what God is doing in their life. Now, notice I said want, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because whenever people, and you got a lot of them, God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life, you got a lot of people tapping into you. What you have to realize is that when people want to do things, they won't focus on what they need to do. They'll focus on what they want to do first. And then when they find themselves in need, they'll come to anyone who's willing to extend themselves. You're the first path of least resistance. They're never going to get on their knees and say, God, I have a situation. I'm believing you to resolve my situation, God. And whatever time it takes, I'm going to be still and know that you're God. They're not going to do that. They're not going to wait until they can resolve the situation on their own. They're going to come to you because they know you'll extend yourself. What you have to do is make a conscious decision to tell them that you're not going to be able to assist them. Pure and simple. I'm not going to be able to assist at this time. I have my own, and I wouldn't even add at this time. I would just say I'm not going to be in a position to assist you because I have my own responsibilities right now that I have to attend to. That's it. That's your speech. And the reason is because they're only coming to you when they need something now after doing what they wanted to do previously. So we have an old adage that we use, and it is that people are never going to come to you and say, will you pay for me to go on vacation, or will you pay for me to go on a trip? They'll go on vacation or go on a trip, and then when they come back, they'll tell you they can't pay their mortgage, can't pay their rent, can't pay their car note. They'll tell you that. But the reality is, the reason that they aren't in a position to do it is because they did what they wanted to do, and now they can't afford to do what they need to do. But that was a decision. So they'll have to pay that, whatever that fee is for being late paying their rent. They'll have to pay the fee for being late for paying their mortgage. Because at the end of the day, that's the only way they're going to learn to be responsible. And the only way to learn to be responsible is by forming a relationship with the Lord that then keeps you on the right track. You know, I know what I need to do, God. I know you've blessed me to be able to do this. This is what I need to do. And set aside what they want to do. This is basic stuff. It's not brain surgery. It's not neurosurgery. It's simply having some discipline to do what they need to do and stop pulling on you to do what they want to do. You know, it's very important that we recognize that every time we do something for someone else, you become their God. They will not go to God for what they need, but they'll come to you. You cannot be their God, or they will not grow spiritually. They will not grow and have a better quality of life. They'll just keep doing what they're doing, believing it's the right way to do it because they know they can. You've got to take care of you now. That has to be the priority. You have to take care of you. And you have to make certain that everyone else making their own choices lives with their choices. These are all adults. As soon as I hear that, I think of an expression that my wife and I use all the time about life in general. Everybody's grown. Just life in general. And life's going to happen to us all. And as painful as it might be to watch someone you love go through something, unless it is a medical issue, they don't really need anything. It's all based on want and immediate gratification. That's it. Pure and simple. Now you can do things for people that you love, like your parents. You can do nice things for your parents. But you do that just because you desire to do it. Your parents are not financially as stable as you are now. They're retired. They're living on a fixed income. You can do some nice things for them from time to time. But they're not asking you for anything. It's everybody else. Siblings, cousins, friends. And you know what I say about that? The nerve of friends to say to you, I need you to do this for me because I can't do it for myself. If you can get up every day and do what God has assigned you to do, they can get up every day and do what God has assigned them to do. Real simple. Self-care. Take care of you. And let everyone else take care of themselves. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. If you're in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything that a man could possibly need. They have shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. I'm in Charles Tyrwhitt attire today. And if you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And the White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need. Home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from the White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have a friend who is really going down a bad road with her behavior. However, there does not appear to be anything you can say to make her change directions. So, listen, your only responsibility is, as a friend, is to tell her the truth. Tell her what you see. Tell her that you're concerned about her social habits. You're concerned about her drinking. You're concerned about her sexual exploits. You're concerned about her long-term care. You're concerned about where she's going to end up on this road. And I'll tell you, as I was prayerful about this, you seem to feel, based on your communication, you seem to feel that you're watching a train wreck happen and you cannot stop the train. I know you said on the road, but you can put a car crash there, you can put a car going over the cliff. I just used the train because the train is very critical for someone to be involved in a train crash, in a train wreck. You're watching the wreck occur in her life, and you're not certain that even the jaws of life are going to be able to get her out of the wreckage. I get it. It's not so much her being, destroyed in a car accident or anything to that effect, but just the impact that it's going to have on her life, the way she's living. Okay. So, in our society today, let me tell you what has occurred. There are people who are narcissists. There are genuinely people who are narcissists, who are of my generation. They're the baby boomer generation. But in today's society, we're creating a whole society of narcissistic people. And in addition to that, we're creating a reckless culture. We're creating a culture that tells people that it's okay to be reckless and not be concerned about the wreckage. That's what we're teaching. And we're teaching them that by the examples that they see. How we're living on social media, how we are. There's nothing stable about the society in which we live. And we've got to recognize, I have a very dear friend, we often talk about this being spiritual warfare. It is spiritual warfare. It is spiritual warfare, without question. But first you have to understand spiritual warfare to be able to fight and combat the enemy. Because the enemy is destroying lives daily. And you know what's really amazing? There are, that old, I never saw the film, but I've seen the commercial. The Walking Dead. We took that to mean people who were drugged out, who were, high all the time. They were not functioning people in society. But there are functioning people in society who are, suffering with addictions. But we're not talking about people who are drugged out. We're talking about people who are self-image consumed, about, it was once upon a time we were only concerned about how we presented ourselves to the public. Now it's all about presenting ourselves to the public in whatever way we think will get a response from people who are watching. People who have no better quality of life than you have, but we're trying to convince them that we have a better quality of life, that we have, that we're in this great functioning space in our lives, and we're damaging our careers, we're damaging our home life, we're damaging, there's a lot of destruction going on that we haven't even seen the outcome of yet. It's just the beginning of the destruction, and that's what the enemy does. He seeks to kill, steal, and destroy. Let's not fall into that trap, and all you can do is give her the truth and be there to help to pull her from the wreckage if she refuses to accept your truth. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, 3D, has been brought to you by Fiji Water, a Taste of Paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com.